Okay, welcome everyone to the Tuesday, December 10th Working Group Component Standard meeting. This will be our last meeting of the year. We'll pick back up in January. So welcome everyone. We've got one item on the agenda today, which is from Alex, which is what's our path to component config in the controller manager. Let me share the notes here, and then Alex, why don't you get started?
Yeah, sure. So I think Mike and I have been talking during some previous office hours that we want to like revive the effort and I could look into it. So I was just trying to gather up all the points which have been made recently. So I linked that doc which I created. I think it's in the meeting notes.
Apparently I
And
can't actually
just
share.
so we are on the
Maybe someone else can share the notes. I just upgraded Mac OS to Catalania, and so it now requests permission for everything and makes you restart apps to get the
I can
permission.
share if you I can share if you want.
Thanks.
So should be seeing it now, I think. So yeah, I created that doc so just so we're all basically on the same page and having like an overview over what has been done recently and how we can kind of like revive the effort. I had a chat with, so I reached out to Stuart, who has been doing a couple of things in this area, which was done like in this, like previously this year. It was kind of went stale. So there is like an open cap, which has been discussed on, which is I think this one here. There were a couple of discussion points, and Lucas posted this draft proposal for an alternative, and then there were a couple discussion points, and I kind of like went stale. Nothing really happened. I reached out to Stuart, and he said he's quite busy with another project. He won't be able to work on this, I think, but he will be able to like if we have any questions or so, we can ping back to him, I think. But yeah, so my idea was to just maybe like look over the current state, which I tried to like summarize here, and just discuss on how we can move this forward. So I think like in regards of where we are right now is we do have some types here, which I think is like we have, if I understand this correctly, we have one kind of like external API type, which like contains a structure for all the different controllers. Am I seeing this correctly? Yeah, and I think
So,
this what is yeah
yeah, I think
yeah
so.
so and I go on.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I saw like there's one discussion point from Stefan, which was it? Oh shit.
No
So
worries.
there's one here. It's kind of like disclosed PR where he closed this one and said it might be unpracticable to have like 50 differently versioned objects. So I wasn't quite sure if like this has already been addressed in this PR, if this is like a
I
major
don't think it
roadblock.
has. It like in this specific PR, maybe it was done, but I don't think that the overall discussion on like what the best way to do it has been settled. I think
Yeah.
there were a few things that came up. One was like, oh my God, this is a lot of boilerplate if we have to add this to everything. Um, uh, One was a lot of controllers like need the same config for the same thing, like for a client or for like maybe some auth stuff or something. And so people don't want to have to retype that for every controller's config. So that was like one thing we need to figure out is like how to make that convenient when you're sort of hosted in a controller manager. Another comment that I saw in there was that like apparently it's not serializable today, but I wasn't sure exactly what folks meant by that. Maybe there's just a bunch of runtime stuff that needs to get better separated out. But like you said, it has that v1 alpha 1, so I'm not sure exactly, but we need to chase that down.
Hmm.
I'm just gonna put it out there that it might make sense for the next time the 50 version object thing comes up to suggest that they are versioned in lockstep, since they're all core controllers.
Maybe.
Until the code is separate, it maybe doesn't make sense to version them so separately.
Yeah, it might make sense to start with like a controller manager API group and maybe split. Like we might never split a lot of these controllers out, so it might not make sense to really treat them that separate yet.
But I like the different objects.
Yeah, I do too. I like it that it's more modular. And we have to like remember our main goals, right? Like getting onto component config in the first place is a huge win. And so if we have to make a few compromises short term, get there and say, hey, look, these will be bundled in one big API group for controller manager for now, and maybe in the future we split them out. If that resolves a discussion that could be like a months long bike shed and gets us moving forward, it's the right thing to do at this point.
So what would be a good like actionable point here in regards of picking this up? I guess if like Stuart can't spend time on this, should we like carry over work from that cap and extend it? What would be the best way forward?
Yeah, that's one approach. I think let's maybe get together what you think are like the most important things for us to do in order to get controller managers component config to beta, because that's ultimately what we're shooting for, is being able to say this is a beta versioned component config API. And so let's figure out what the real critical path for that is and which problems need to get solved. Like there's interesting problems like controller manager binaries and shared config and should these all be separate objects and stuff. Let's first be really clear about which of those are necessary to solve to get to beta. Because we know we have design problems that need to get solved, and we have like the migration problem of actually moving any other flags in that needs to get solved. And we know Lala, Tendo-M, and TBH wanted to work on the migration stuff. So, and they're there to help you with this stuff too. So I think it's, yeah, we got to figure that critical path out.
Okay. Maybe we can spend some time during the office hours to maybe look at the code a little bit more in detail. And I still have some questions on how this all like works together and what could be like good points to address.
Yeah, sounds good.
Then like on this, so like there are a couple places, right? So I think this cap it's kind of like isolated. I feel we have like this issue here, but it hasn't been mentioned, I think.
I don't know if you need to like revive that cap. I think we need, it's okay to come up with your own plan, propose it, and then we'll talk about that and try to move forward on that.
Yeah.
I think that'll be an easier way.
Maybe we can like pick up this issue since it's open, there's still some discussion on it. And basically maybe have a summary on what we discussed here, that we're moving this forward, and that we'll work on a cap or something.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, then let's spend some time during the office hours and check out the code a little bit more.
Yeah, I think that would be good for both of us. Cool.
All right. I'll stop the share if you guys are All right.
Sweet. All right, that was our first kind of agenda item. Does anyone have anything else they want to talk about today? All right, cool. So we'll pick up our next meeting on January 7th, same time, still Tuesdays. So happy holidays, folks. Enjoy the time off and you know, have fun, relax a little bit.
One more question. You mentioned in Slack that the Zoom is going to change.
Yeah, so right now we have two separate Zooms. One is the one we are using for this meeting, and one is the one we use for the office hours meeting. The office hours meeting is a Zoom account that's actually owned by the chairs of the working group. And the one we're currently using for this meeting is like a Sequencer Lifecycle one that conflicts with their other meetings. So I want to, since sometimes this meeting like runs way over the 30-minute time, and then people start joining from one of their meetings and kicking us out, I want to switch it so that we don't have that conflict anymore.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah. Cool. Anything else, folks? All right. Happy holidays. See you in January or at the office hours today.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
All right, see you in a bit.